He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
If you do a mortgage with the sole intention of, well, if they pay the first one, I bet they'll miss the second one, and then I can grab their house, and I can try to make money off that with these crazy fees, that's illegal. Mm-hmm. And that's against the act. All the acts that you just described. Okay. But always remember this, folks. There's also people who just take on a private mortgage, and they are in a somewhat precarious state of financing. They tell us that the mortgage is to save them, and then 6 months later, we see all the credit cards that were paid off were just run up again, and they're back in the same disaster. Some people are destined to lose their home. I mean, that's just the way life is. It's a sad truth, but it is. But this idea that you just described of people building a trap for the borrower, again, there's few of these people, but they're still, as you said, a noisy minority and a real problem. So everything you said is factual, that there's an intention from some mortgage brokers to engineer a power of sale action and to profit from it. And what you just described does happen, and it happens too often. One is too much, but it happens way too often. Exactly as you described, people who are in a tough state or already a precarious financial state, where are they going to get money to retain a lawyer to try to defend them? Okay. So what ends up happening is they end up being evicted from the power sale under the power sale action. They leave the home, and then the house is sold, and all this massive number of fees, this massive plethora of all kinds of fake fees, then go into then eat into the proceeds from that sale. And even though the act under which power sale is managed says you have to take your best efforts to make sure that the homeowner who's been evicted gets their fair share of the proceeds, they never get any of the proceeds. Mm-hmm. No matter what the hell the proceeds are.
That's right. And that's part of why this, and I'll call it a scam, because oftentimes it's used as basically a scam. The way it works is even people who can't pay their mortgage often have a lot of equity in their home.
Oh, yeah.
And that equity gets targeted by those who want, whether they'll admit this or not, they want these properties to go into a power sale. If you're a mortgage lender, all you should ever want is to lend money at a certain percentage rate. Everyone pays their mortgage, and you get that percentage rate back as a return on your investment. That's all you should want. But there are people out there who want it to go to power sale because they could make a lot more money that way by abusing the process like I described, by charging illegal fees, taking them out of the equity, or by selling a property under power sale to, say, a related party for less.
Oh, we're going to get to that one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
For less than market value. Yeah. And then that also takes money out of the equity in the property effectively. And there's just so many ways that people have figured out how to abuse the system, and in doing so, abuse people who don't have much money and are down on their luck or whatever the case may be.
And are also unsophisticated. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's face it, folks. People who take on very high fee, high interest rate private mortgages, they may not be sophisticated borrowers, and they may in fact be the victims of a language ghetto. I mean, there may be hardworking people who bought a house, but their proficiency in English is not perfect. So they get a mortgage from someone who speaks their native home country language. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that person is just there to rip them off harder than any other party. Okay. Not everybody, not at all, not painting the same brush on everyone, but it is a horrible situation because, as you described, when you see the lawyer who represents the power of sale action show up in court at the last minute and say, you know what, we're not just going to drop certain fees. We're going to drop every goddamn fee because we know they're phony. Well, he didn't say phony, but he knew. When you come out and you say, yeah, we got $46,000 worth of fees here, we're going to drop them all. What the hell?
Exactly. Because he knows that if we start arguing in front of the judge is going to smack him, basically, and say, what are you doing? You know that these fees are not going to be upheld by this court. Why are you even arguing it? This court's dealt with this repeatedly. So he doesn't want to go before the judge, but they will wait until literally the day of the hearing to make that concession. And of course, then I yell at them because I say, why did we have to come to this hearing today? If you had just told me this literally yesterday, we could have resolved this. But like I say, they will play chicken with you because there's not enough of a disincentive at this point to play chicken right up to the courthouse steps.
So, and the real harm being done here too is that the only legitimate fee is the interest clock. And therefore, if you create a litigious environment purposely, if you add on phony fees purposely, you will eventually pity the poor people who can't afford a lawyer. But if somebody retains somebody like you who knows exactly how to deal with these people, it still pushes time out. That's the way the court system works. It takes time to get to court, lots of time, and the interest clock, which is the only legitimate thing, keeps on ticking. So it's nefarious and evil no matter how you slice it, because if they won't give up the fees till the very end, they gained another 5 or 6 months of interest clock.
That too.
Yeah. So it's evil all the way around.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.